Hello everyone and welcome back. In this last video, we'll be looking at 4 different scales: C major, G major, D major, and A natural minor. Let's get started. First, it might be helpful for us to define what exactly a musical scale is. A scale is a group of notes that are arranged by ascending or descending order of pitch. In an ascending scale, each note is higher in pitch than the last one, and in a descending scale, each note is lower in pitch than the last one. Although there are other kinds of scales out there, the ones that are most commonly used and that we'll be sticking to today are the major and minor scales. Both have 7 notes, one for each letter of our musical alphabet. The scale is named after the note that it starts on, and whether a scale is major or minor is determined by the pattern of whole steps and half steps it uses. For a major scale, the pattern of steps is always whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. This pattern is always the same no matter what note the major scale starts on. Let's take our C major scale as an example. The notes of the scale are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then we return to C, 1 octave higher. There are no accidentals in this scale because the pattern is already correct for a major scale. Finally, we give each note a number with a little caret mark, known as a scale degree. Some of these scale degrees have special names. The first scale degree is known as the tonic, and the 5th scale degree is known as the dominant. Now let's go on to our G major scale. The letters of this scale are G, A, B, C, D, E, F, finally returning to G. We'll go ahead and number our scale degrees and circle our tonic and our dominant. Let's go back through and see if we need to add any accidentals so that our pattern of whole steps and half steps is correct for a major scale. G to A is a whole step. Good. A to B is a whole step. Good. Now should come our half step. B to C is a half step already, so we're looking good. C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step. E to F, half step. Uh-oh. Let's put a sharp on the F, raising it a half step. Now E to F sharp is a whole step. And F sharp to G is our final half step, as it should be. So now we know for sure the notes of our G major scale. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, returning to G. When notating this scale on the staff, we can use either an accidental or we can put something called a key signature at the beginning of the staff, right after the clef. A key signature is a symbol that shows that certain notes should be made sharp or flat throughout an entire piece. For songs that have a lot of sharps or flats, key signatures are used to keep the music from looking too crowded and messy with accidentals. For G major, the key signature is a sharp on the top line of the treble clef staff and the 4th line of the bass clef staff. Both lines are F, so this shows that the sharp applies to all Fs. Time for our final major scale, F major. The letters of this scale are F, G, A, B, C, D, E, returning to F. We'll go ahead and number our scale degrees and circle our tonic and dominant. Now let's check our pattern of whole steps and half steps. F to G is a whole step, good. G to A is a whole step, good. A to B, another whole step, but we need a half step. Let's lower that B to B flat to create a half step. We don't want to raise the A, as that would make the interval between G and A too big. Okay, continuing on. B flat to C is a whole step, good. C to D, whole step. D to E, whole step. Finally, E to F is a natural half step because there's no black key in between. Hooray! We've completed our F major scale. The notes are F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, and returning to F. You can use accidentals or a key signature instead. The key signature for F major is a flat on the 3rd line of the treble clef and the 2nd line of the bass clef. Both of these lines are B, so that shows that all Bs should be flat. Okay, now on to our A natural minor scale. The pattern for a natural minor scale is whole half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. The notes of the scale are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, returning to A. We'll number our scale degrees and circle our tonic and dominant the same way as with our major scales. If we check out the pattern of whole and half steps, we realize that there are no necessary sharps or flats. A to B is a whole step, B to C is a half step, C to D is a whole step, D to E is a whole step, E to F is a half step, F to G is a whole step, and finally, G to A is another whole step. Now it's time to get on to the second half of this video, which is all about chords. Chords refer to 3 or more notes being played at the same time. There are lots of different kinds of chords, but today we'll be looking at the most commonly used kind, triads. Tri is a prefix meaning 3. Triads have 3 notes, just like a tricycle has 3 wheels and a triangle has 3 sides. In a triad, these notes are separated by an interval of a third. The bottom note is called the root of the chord. The middle note is the third, and the highest note is the fifth. The most important triad for any given song is the tonic triad. We learned when we were talking about scales that the first scale degree is called the tonic. So a tonic triad is a chord where the tonic scale degree is the root of the chord. Let's try a few. First, we'll write out a tonic triad in the key of C major. For C major, your tonic, or first scale degree, is C, so that will be the root of our chord. A third up from C is E, and a fifth up from C is G. Ta-da! Tonic triad. Now let's try a tonic triad in a different key. We'll do A minor. A would be our tonic, so that becomes our root. A third up from A is C, and a fifth up from A is E. Another tonic triad? Done! Easy as that. Finally, there are 2 ways of writing triads. The notes can be written one on top of the other to be played simultaneously. This is called block form. But you can also take the root, third, and fifth of your triad and play them one after the other. Writing it this way is called broken form. Woohoo! That's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.